The Jumanji board was never meant to be magic. It was born from grief, fire, and a father who lost everything. When you watch Jumanji from 1995, you see chaos, monkeys in police cars, giant spiders in the living room, a hunter stepping out of smoke with a rifle in his hands. But the film never tells you where the board actually came from, who carved it, why it only calls to children, why nobody can die while playing, and why saying one single word resets time itself. Today we're going back to the very beginning, long before Alan Parrish rolled the dice, long before the drums echoed through Brantford. We're tracing the board's secret origin story and how it led straight into the events of Jumanji. And by the end, you'll see that this wasn't just a game, it was a test. Our story begins in 1868, in Sierra Leone, West Africa. Back then, it wasn't magic, it wasn't cursed, it wasn't alive. It was just a father's gift. A tribal chief named Alkali carved the board from mahogany wood. He designed it for his family. A folding board with jungle carvings on the outside. Inside, a path through thick forest leading to a golden city at the center. There were 126 riddle cards, 4 carved pieces, an elephant, a rhino, a monkey, a crocodile. The rules were simple. Solve the riddle, move forward, reach the city, win the game. It was meant to bring a family together, and that detail matters more than you think. Sierra Leone was under British control at the time. Soldiers raided villages, took gold, took land, took lives. One raid changed everything. The village where the board was created was attacked. Homes burned, people died, and the golden plate at the center of the board was stolen. Alkali watched his world collapse. So he did something desperate. He turned to an ancient ritual, a dark binding spell that ties a soul to an object. He threw several riddle cards into the fire, and in that moment, the board changed. The flames didn't destroy it, they fed it. The souls of the villagers and the soldiers were pulled into the game. The board became something else, something aware. At the center appeared a glowing green stone, the heart of Jumanji. From that night forward, it wasn't a board game anymore. It was a prison, a test, a world. A missionary named Robert Sproul later found the board in the ruins of the village. He brought it back. He didn't know what it was. He and his partner started playing, and the game responded. Deadly vines, beasts, chaos. They never finished. In 1869, the board was shipped to Brantford, New Hampshire, along with Robert's belongings. His sons Caleb and Benjamin opened the trunk. They saw the board. They read the rules. They rolled the dice. Creatures poured into their home. Giant insects, wild animals, and then a hunter stepped out of the jungle's smoke. Van Pelt. But this version carried the face of their father. The game had consumed him and turned him into one of its challenges. Eventually, Benjamin reached the center and said the word Jumanji. Time reset. And the boys buried the board deep in the woods. And that's where Alan Parrish would find it decades later. Now here's where it gets interesting. The screenwriter of Jumanji, Jonathan Hensley, built the story around strict rules. These rules explain almost every strange thing in the 1995 film. Rule 1. Only children can truly play. Adults see nothing but wood and paint. That's why police never believed Sarah. That's why grown-ups couldn't trigger the magic. Alan and Sarah started as kids, so they were locked in. Rule 2. you cannot die while playing. This explains how Alan survived 26 years in the jungle as a child. It explains why the deadly mosquitoes didn't kill the townspeople. The game protects its players until it ends, because a game cannot be won if the players are dead. Rule 3. Cheating brings punishment. Peter tries to cheat and slowly begins turning into a monkey. If his piece had been an elephant, he would have grown a trunk. The board doesn't just punish you, it humiliates you. Rule 4. Finish the game and say the word Jumanji. Time rewinds to the moment of the first roll. Not just events, everything. That's why Alan goes back to being a child. That's why Judy and Peter remember nothing. The board resets reality. Here's something people miss. The jungle wasn't the true enemy. Van Pelt wasn't either. The board uses your fears. Alan's father was strict, cold, always telling him to be a man. So what does the game create? A hunter who chases him and demands courage. Peter imagines monkeys as wild troublemakers. So the game gives him monkeys that drive cars and destroy a town. Jumanji doesn't invent horrors. It pulls them from your mind. The game forces you to face what scares you most. That was always its purpose. Even before the magic, a father created it to challenge his children, to help them grow. The curse twisted it, but the core idea stayed the same. Caleb tried smashing it. It didn't work. The board cannot be damaged while a game is active, but according to its own mythology, it can be destroyed, only by fire, only at the place where it first transformed. The same flames that gave it life would have to take it away, which means unless someone travels back to that exact spot in Africa, the board survives. It waits. There was almost a different ending to the 1995 film, directed by Joe Johnston. Originally, Judy and Peter were supposed to remember everything. They would say the word Jumanji and unlock their memories. But that idea was cut. Why? Because it broke the rules. And Jumanji does not bend its rules. Not for anyone. So when Alan Parrish hears those drums in 1969, when he digs up that buried box, when he rolls a 5 and gets pulled into the jungle, he isn't starting the story. He's continuing it. The board had already taken lives, already reset time, already tested families. By 1995, it had been waiting for over a century, waiting for children brave enough to finish what others couldn't. The monkeys, the spiders, the hunter, the jungle. They were never random. They were echoes of a game born in fire, shaped by fear, and powered by the souls trapped inside it. Jumanji was never just about adventure. It was about courage, about facing what you run from, about finishing what you start. A simple family board game carved in 1868 became a supernatural prison that bends time itself, and every roll of the dice is a reminder. You must play until the end. If you want to uncover the darkest secrets hiding inside your favorite childhood movies, watch the next breakdown on your screen now.